everything and evidence of life unseen for millions of years is about to be rediscovered. Join us as an intrepid journalist, a respected scientist, and a mad genius venture into some of the most unexplored corners of the planet to find where the wild things are and where dinosaurs ruled the earth. From the legendary author of Sherlock Holmes, the North Hunterdon Theater Organization invites you to join them as they present a history-making high school dramatic production about a hair-raising adventure in a prehistoric time. The Lost World, based on the classic novel by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, directed by Mary Ennis Mayo, performed live via podcast and streamed into the very comfort of your homes. Encore performances on October 29th and 30th at 7 p.m. Visit NHTO.bookpicks.com for details on how to join us on the white-knuckle ride of a lifetime. The Lost World. Get your tickets now and let our cast and crew bid you welcome to the jungle.
The makers of bromoquinine cold tablets bring you another adventure of Arthur Conan Doyle's thrilling works, The Lost World, performed by the North Hunterdon High School's theater organization. When you are threatened with a cold, remember this. Bromoquinine tablets are made expressly for the relief of colds. They are not a cure-all. They are made for one thing and one thing only, and that is the relief of colds. Isn't it better to take a preparation that has only one use rather than one that has half a dozen uses? Ensure yourself the advantages of specialized medication. When you feel a cold coming on, take bromoquinine tablets. B-R-O-M-O-Q-U-I-N-I-N-E, bromoquinine cold tablets.
And now our feature presentation.
Dinosaur. The very word evokes a nightmare both repulsive and mesmerizing. What is the enduring appeal of these great beasts who lived millions of years before man? Is it the ferocity of their life or the mystery of their death? Come with us now as we make our way down treacherous rapids and across steaming jungles in search of the Lost World.
Watch out for the boulder!
It's a whirlpool!
Look out!
We hit something!
Just a glancing blow.
They're shooting at us! Jolly good ride!
We're going to capsize!
We can't make it! We can't make it!
Watch out!
Mr. McArdle, it's the telegraph room. Malone's latest story has them in mortal danger. They're caught in the rapids. And Sir George Beaumont wants a word with you.
You let Sir George climb those stairs?
I couldn't stop him, Miss McArdle. He was...
So, there you are, Angus. Explain to me these expenses.
We have Malone's next story, Sir George.
More silly bird-watching reports?
Not at all, Sir George. Rapids and cannibals with drums and poison arrows and piranha fish.
Monsters! Man, you promised me monsters as big as our headlines.
Big rapids, big drums, and big cannibals with big poison arrows.
And big expenses. How did you bewitch me into paying for this expedition?
Well, if you recall, Sir George, it all began when young Ned Malone decided he was tired of chasing fire engines.
Mr. McArdle, do you have a minute?
What's on your mind, Malone?
I'd like to report on something more exciting than charity events, Mr. McArdle. Perhaps a mission, like Stanley and Livingston. Something with adventure and danger. The more, the better.
You seem very anxious to risk your life.
To justify my life, sir.
Let me hazard a guess. It's about a girl, isn't it? What's her name?
Gladys Hungerton.
Well, laddie, I don't know if I have any new worlds for you to discover, but I do have something of a mission. Have you heard of George Edward Challenger?
Professor Challenger, the famous zoologist?
Right. 2 years ago, Challenger went on an expedition to South America. He came back with stories, big stories, about a land lost in time, untouched for millions of years. He actually claims to have seen dinosaurs.
My God, dinosaurs?
That's right, laddie. Dinosaurs. In a lost world. Don't you love the sound of that? There's a meeting tonight at the Zoological Society. Challenger is going to be there. I want you to sniff around. If you find something, I'll back you up.
Thanks for the tip, Mr. McArdle.
Think nothing of it, and be careful.
Thank you. And now I would like to introduce our featured speaker, Dr. Emil Illingworth.
Thank you, Dr. Meldrum. Esteemed society members, ladies and gentlemen, as we climb the evolutionary ladder, what captivates us most are the saurians, the dinosaurians, that frightful breed of reptiles that appear to us in the fossil records, but which have been extinct before the coming of man.
Hogwash!
To be sure, for extinct before the coming of man.
Moron!
Would Professor Challenger please contain himself?
Evolution is not a spent force. It is at work here even today.
Not within these walls!
Stop this disruption, sir. This is a distinguished assembly.
Would you accept, sir, a reasonable opinion?
I should like to hear you utter a reasonable opinion, sir.
Very well. The reasonable opinion is, you are an idiot!
Professor Challenger, really, I must ask you to leave the hall so that the good doctor may continue his speech, and if that is not acceptable,
Just because Dr. Illingworth has never seen prehistoric animals, does that mean they don't exist? No! In fact, they do exist, and I have seen them! Liar! Am I a liar?
Liar! Some decorum, please! Order! Question, Professor.
Aha! There is a woman who seeks a cure for ignorance.
Your findings in the Amazon run completely counter to established explorers. How do you account for this?
Very simple. What the others missed, I discovered.
Will you divulge the exact location of your so-called discovery?
I shall not. That information is proprietary.
And unpublishable, which makes it unscientific.
You raise the same stale argument as my chief critic, Professor Summerlee.
That is because I am Professor Summerlee.
Why, good God, man! You're a woman!
I invite Professor Challenger to prove his contention with a proper investigation. That is, if I participate.
I accept that challenge and dare the Zoological Society to finance such an expedition.
Well, I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Edward Dunn-Malone of the Daily Gazette. I shall ask my editor, Mr. McArdle, to underwrite this expedition. But only if I, too, may participate.
Wonderful! Are there any other volunteers?
Right here, Professor Challenger.
And your name, sir?
Lord John Roxton. I have been up the Amazon, and I have special qualifications for this expedition.
Lord John Roxton's reputation as a sportsman and explorer is world famous. He would make a welcome addition.
So be it. Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize Lord John Roxton, Professor Summerlee, Edward Dunn-Malone, and myself as the official expedition that will bring back unassailable proof of my lost world.
Hip hip hooray!
Just a moment, please. Only an objective expedition can confirm such findings, Challenger. Therefore, I move that you not accompany the others.
You would bar me from my own expedition?
Yes!
This is an outrage! An insult!
It is moved that Professor Challenger withdraw from the expedition. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
How dare you! How dare you!
All those opposed, nay.
Nay!
Well, I suspect the ayes have it. The motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned.
Quite a turnabout, eh, Malone?
It certainly is.
Since we're to travel together, I think we need to understand one another.
Why, of course.
It'll be just the two of us on this thing now. Can you imagine Miss Summerlee in a close call?
Actually, I can.
What's your weapon of choice?
Words?
Oh, well, may I suggest Bland's 577 Axite Express with a telescopic sight?
Is that really necessary? This is a big game. This is a scientific quest, not a big game hunt.
Unless the professor is a madman or a liar, we're going to see some strange things before we get back. South America's a land I love, grandest, most wonderful place on the planet. But the more you learn of that jungle, lad, the more you'll know that anything is possible. So be off with you. Pack everything you think you'll need, then unpack and do it again, just to make sure. Because once we sail, there'll be no turning back.
All ashore that's going ashore!
Malone? Malone! What is that, lad?
Mr. McArdle? Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you. How can I ever thank you for giving me this opportunity?
That should be obvious, laddie. By sending back stories that'll sell newspapers. Lots of them.
I intend to, sir.
Good. Remember, I want exotic places, wild beasts, high adventure. But most of all, bring me the lost world.
All ashore that's going ashore! All ashore that's going ashore!
Let me have your attention! Everyone, gather round! I've only a few words to say. First, I wish I were going with you. Secondly, here in this sealed envelope is the map to the lost world. This envelope is not to be opened until you've arrived at Manaus. Understood?
Yes. Oh, Gladys, there you are. I've been waiting for you all morning.
All ashore that's going ashore!
Quickly, Gladys. We don't have much time. I've been thinking...
Oh, Ned, why do I get the feeling you're about to propose?
Well...
I wish you wouldn't. Things are so much nicer as they are.
Oh, really?
An engagement would only spoil it.
I should think you'd want to count the days till I returned. Keep the candle burning?
Oh, now you've ruined everything. Why can't you just control yourself?
I've been controlling myself damn well these past 6 months for a man who's in love.
In love? I'm not. Not in the least.
Gladys, you are truly extraordinary.
Thank you, Ned. You see, the man I will marry must be an adventurer. Look at that young Frenchman who went up in a balloon. There was a gale blowing, but because he said he'd go, he went. The wind blew him 1,500 miles into the middle of Siberia. That's the kind of man I want.
Did he ever come back, Gladys?
No, of course he didn't, but that's not the point, Ned.
Final boarding?
Yes, well, I'm sure this conversation has given me all the strength I'll need in the coming months.
Last call.
Goodbye, Ned.
Goodbye, Gladys. Dateline, the Amazon. Dear Mr. McArdle, our Atlantic crossing was uneventful. We arrived and put ashore
at the mouth of the Amazon. After a night's rest, we boarded the Esmeralda, which took us up the river to Manaus. The golden sun glistens on the dark, shimmering waters. I can see the native women bathing, the rays of sun sparkling on their... Ooh, good God, I think we could spare that detail. Let's see now. Here we go. Roxton has engaged a local guide named Gomez who speaks excellent English. Tomorrow at noon we shall open the sealed envelope, on which the success of our expedition rests.
Surely it's time to see the map, Lord John.
Time it is. Now let's have a look. Oh, blimey! It's blank!
What? Let me see the envelope.
What more proof do you want? Professor Challenger is a complete fake.
Now what are we supposed to do?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm telegraphing the Zoological Society this moment.
Don't bother!
Good God!
Challenger!
Yes. Sorry to disappoint you, Summerlee.
What are you doing here?
I came to see how well you were managing in my absence.
Well, it's obvious we can't go any further without instructions.
My point exactly.
But this is against your promise.
A promise coerced from me by academic imbeciles.
Professor, what we need now is our destination. Do you have the map?
Indeed, Roxton, and it's safely stored in my head. Now that that's clear, it should be equally obvious I've come to take charge of this expedition. We gather at the riverbank at dawn. Get a good night's sleep. Till tomorrow.
This is Malone's last transmission from Manaus. Dateline the Amazon. We have loaded the provisions in our canoe. All is ready. We leave within the hour. The adventure begins.
Very impressive paddling, Professor Summerlee. I wouldn't have taken an academic such as yourself for an athlete.
Are you surprised I can paddle a canoe?
You've been doing it for some time now and don't seem winded at all.
There are many things a woman can do without getting winded, Lord John. Paddling a canoe is just one of them.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to be patronizing. Perhaps later in the day we could...
What's that sound?
We are not alone, senor. Drums!
Roxton, what do you make of this?
I've heard them before, many times. War drums.
War drums?
Yes, natives. They talk the drum talk to each other. We will kill you if we can. We will kill you if we can.
What was that?
They're shooting at us.
We're under attack. Guys, put your backs into it.
That was a close one.
Give me my rifle. I'll have a go at them.
Good work, Roxton.
Can't even see what I'm shooting at.
They're pulling away.
That should discourage them for the time being.
What's that I hear?
Just in it. All right, everyone. The snow's dropping now.
Hold on!
Paddle on the current.
Watch out for the boulder.
Whirlpool!
Look out ahead!
Spring, hold side. Just the glass and row.
Jolly good ride!
We're going to capsize. We're going to capsize.
Watch out.
We're not going to make it.
We lost more than half our supplies in the rapids, but decided to continue on foot. For 10 days we cut our way through the steaming jungle, and just when we thought we could go no further, there it was, Challenger's lost world. It greets us in the distance, through a dwindling twilight, daring us to approach. The plateau rises defiantly, like the devil's dinner table, 1,000 feet into the clouds. Even from a distance of 10 miles it looks immense. An island in the sky, lost in time. There's a strange rock pinnacle next to the plateau. That may be our stairway to the lost world. We rise at dawn. All right, laddie. All right. You've done it. I knew you would.
Extra! Extra! Expedition finds lost world! Daring explorers climb thousands of feet into the sky! Extra! Extra! Read all about it!
The rock face is immense. How in the world do we get up?
I think the only way up is to climb the pinnacle.
I agree.
Then let's get the ropes out.
Mr. Malone, look,
What is it?
right in front of you, at your feet. I think it's a human skull.
Oh God, you're right. The bamboo is growing right through it.
The rest of the skeleton is over here. The flesh has been stripped from the bones.
Poor devil. Dreadful way to die. Every inch of his body must have been perforated by the bamboo. There can't be much doubt about how he met his death.
He fell.
Or was pushed.
Kurupuri, the spirit of the jungle.
Oh, nonsense. The only spirit in this jungle is the spirit of adventure. Now, let's get ourselves some supper. I'm famished.
We are presently encamped for the night at the base of the plateau. Lord Roxton has shot a pig, and Gomez is cooking it over an open fire.
Professor Summerlee, may I speak with you a moment?
Yes, Mr. Malone?
Ned, please.
Why do you insist on my calling you Ned?
So that I might call you Elizabeth.
Oh, very well, Ned.
Elizabeth, have you been noticing the sunsets? They're really quite beautiful. Nothing like in England. My God! Look! Look in the sky! What on earth is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are being paid a visit.
Quick! Hand me my rifle!
Look at the size of it!
Watch your heads! It's coming down! Out the way!
It's got the pig! It's grabbed the pig! Gomez, stand away from it!
It's incredible! Look at those eyes!
Give me a clean shot!
Shine the torch! The torch!
Oh, it's too late. It's gone.
And the pig.
Did you see what it was, Summerlee?
I've never seen anything like it.
Nor has any living man or woman.
What is it? What is it?
Go on. Tell him, Summerlee.
It's...
Say it!
It's a living pterodactyl!
Yes!
Extra! Extra! Challenger expedition discovers a big flying dinosaur! Extra! Extra!
Fantastic. Can't print the papers fast enough. A flying dinosaur, and God knows what's to come. Let's see here, what's he say? After much deliberation, we have decided to climb the pinnacle. There's a tree at the top. We calculate if we cut it down, it might provide a bridge for crossing to the plateau. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Almost finished?
All right, everybody stand back. Stand back!
Timber!
Well done, Gomez. Well done.
Yes, it's a perfect bridge.
Now be careful, everyone. It's a 1,000-foot drop.
Roxton crossed with ease and assurance, then Challenger and Summerlee and myself. We'd all crossed to the plateau except Gomez, when suddenly...
What's happened?
The bridge has fallen. Gomez pushed it over.
Lord Roxton.
What is it, man? What have you done? You've cut us off.
Yes, there you are, you English dog, and there you will remain.
What's all this about, Roxton?
I really haven't the foggiest idea.
I have waited and waited, Lord Roxton, and now I have my chance. You found it hard to get up. You will find it harder to get down. Think of Lopez.
What's a Lopez?
You shot him 5 years ago on the Putumayo River. I am his brother, and now I've avenged him.
Your brother Lopez was a thief and caused the death of 2 other guides.
I live to see you die.
He's climbing down and taking the rope with him.
Hand me my rifle.
Roxton, you can't.
My God, you've killed him!
Yes, and in any case you didn't realize it, he's considerably lessened our chances of getting off this plateau alive.
All right, everyone. Move away from the edge. It's dangerous. We'll sort this out later. We have a lost world to explore.
beauty was sold for an old man's gold. He's a bird in a gilded cage.
In just a moment, we will rejoin Professor Challenger and his daring explorers in the Amazon, with Malone faithfully reporting to his editor, Angus McCardle. A cold, even a so-called slight cold, is something to be concerned about, for any cold may quickly take a more serious turn. Be serious in your treatment of a cold. At the very first symptom, take a serious and proven preparation. Bromoquinine tablets have been on the market for years, and their merit is fully established. They relieve the headaches, the fever, and the stuffy feeling that accompanies a cold. Don't fool around when you feel a cold coming on. Take warning at the first symptoms and take bromoquinine tablets. Bromoquinine tablets are sold by all drugstores, a few cents a box. Ask clearly and firmly for bromo, B-R-O-M-O, quinine, Q-U-I-N-I-N-E, bromoquinine cold tablets.
B-R-O-M-O, Q-U-I-N-I-N-E, bromoquinine cold tablets.
Our first steps into the lost world were like stepping back into time. Everything we see is new to our eyes. Ferns the size of trees, flowers so large you could curl up in their petals. When we had walked at least a mile inland,
Ned, don't move. Whatever you do, don't move.
What is it?
I'm studying something.
On the back of my neck.
It's an enormous blood tick, at least 3 inches long.
Don't study it, get it off me!
You've crushed it!
Damn right!
I didn't even get to classify it!
Classify it dead!
Calm down, Malone. In its own way, that blood tick is as beautiful a work of nature as the peacock.
Glad you feel that way, Challenger. One just crawled up your pant leg.
What? Get it out! Get it out! No!
Challenger, you needn't roll about.
Don't move, Challenger. Don't move. Be still.
Why? What is it?
You've fallen into what looks like a footprint, and it must be at least 4 feet across.
Yes, you're right. And unless my scholarship fails me, it is the recently made footprint of a stegosaurus. Very recent.
And very close.
What do we do now, Professor?
We observe. That's why we've come. Ah, yes. There it is, in the clearing. Our stegosaurus. Magnificent!
Professor!
Don't worry, Malone. It's an herbivore.
It's such a big growl for such a little head.
That's because it's the growl of a Tyrannosaurus Rex approaching from the other side of the clearing.
Right you are, somebody. And it's not.
Look, they're fighting! Professor, don't you think that perhaps...
I think they've seen us. I suggest we run. Run!
we ran, and we didn't stop running until we stumbled upon a large festering bog of blue-gray mud. Enormous trees encircled the swamp, creating a landscape of eons gone by. What we saw next was truly amazing.
Look! Pterodactyls! All around.
There must be at least 200.
Yes! Look at the young squabbling over morsels of flesh. Who would have thought they nested like birds?
This is incredible! Absolutely incredible!
I want to capture a young one and take it back with us. I want the world to see. Illingworth wanted proof. We'll give it to him.
Good idea, Challenger. But we must make camp as soon as possible. Night's falling. We'll come back later. I promise.
He's right, Challenger.
Very well. Let's continue.
We made camp in a small clearing. The night was brisk. Sometime after midnight, I decided to do some cautious exploration. I walked in an easterly direction until I came upon a herd of dinosaurs sleeping. They reminded me of gentle cows. When I turned to retrace my steps, the ground unexpectedly gave way and I fell headlong into a pit. In the moonlight, I could see I was lying on a carcass of a dead animal. As I climbed out, it dawned on me that this pit had been deliberately dug. The spikes had been intentionally sharpened. It was a trap, an actual trap. And then I realized we were not the only humans in the lost world. After my discovery of the trap, with its sharpened spikes and the rotting carcass, I made my way back to camp as quickly as possible. I wanted to be the first to announce that we were not alone. However, when I arrived at the encampment, I discovered to my horror that my colleagues were gone.
Hello? Hello? Elizabeth? Professor Challenger? Roxton? Where is everybody? Oh God, what am I to do? The camp has been ransacked. Hello? Hello?
For God's sake, not so loud.
Roxton, look at you.
Collect the rifles and let's get a move on.
Why? What happened?
Just before dawn, we were attacked by ape men.
Ape men! I knew it! I knew we weren't alone.
Out of the trees they dropped. Dozens of them. Tied us up, they did. Fancy that, knowing how to tie knots. Then they dragged us through the forest to a village west of here. Luckily, I got away.
Were you followed?
It's hard to say. But listen, Malone, that's just the half of it. The lost world is inhabited, not only by ape men, but by natives too. And there's tribal war going on between them.
My God!
When I left, the ape men were amusing themselves by pulling off arms of captured natives.
Elizabeth?
She's alive. For now.
We've got to help them. But what can we do? Just the two of us.
Oh, take heart, Malone. They may be masters of the trees, but in the open, with our guns, we stand a fighting chance. Stick to the clearings and always, always have your rifle ready.
It was a sight I shall never forget. Imagine a large village of primitive huts. The entire ape-man population gathered in a semicircle near the edge of the plateau. Within the circle were Summerlee and Challenger, as well as a few natives. The ape-men were working themselves into a frenzy when, almost casually, the Ape King raised his hand. The apes then seized one of the natives and flung the poor wretch over the precipice to be skewered on the bamboo far below.
Bloody savages!
We've got to start shooting now.
Let me have the first shot. Ready? Aim!
You got him! You got the chief! They're in disarray!
Like shooting fish in a barrel!
Elizabeth and Challenger have got away! Elizabeth! We're here! Run!
Malone! Got you covered!
This way! Elizabeth!
You rescued us, Ned!
I guess I did. I was so worried about you. When Roxton said you'd been taken, I feared the worst.
And I was worried about you!
What a brave woman you are, Elizabeth.
Why, thank you, Ned. I was hoping you'd notice.
Hate to intrude, Malone, but Challenger's being chased! Stand back. I need a clean shot.
Well, you two certainly came in the nick of time. Don't shoot him, Roxton! He's a native, a chief. He may be of help to us.
Akala, man vota dan gudla, do da, man, do da.
He says we must leave the plateau before the ape-men counterattack.
You understand his language?
It's a variation on several Amazon dialects.
Leave? But how?
Umba prento, salamba, do, domata, rina, kubara.
He says his people use a secret path to come and go from the flatlands below.
Kubara, umba do.
And though the trail is difficult at first, the second half is quite scenic, with a few spectacular overlooks.
So there is a passage down from this plateau.
Apparently!
Excellent! Ungwa, Boto, Salawant, Fifi Puff.
Well, thank you.
What's he saying now?
Unda Fona Bonda?
Nothing, really.
Unga Bonga?
No, tell me.
Just something about the sunlight on my hair and the cut of my dress.
Why, the salacious savage!
Simmer down, Malone! We have more important things to worry about. We need to get off of this plateau before nightfall. Right. Where's Roxton? Where's he gone off to now?
I don't know. I'll find him. Roxton! 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 There you are. We've been looking all over for you.
Shh! Quiet!
What are you doing?
Visiting my friends.
In the pterodactyl rookery?
I'm collecting a young hatchling for Challenger, one that hasn't grown teeth yet. Call it a pet. Call it a souvenir. Actually, don't call it anything until we get home.
2 hours later, we had made our way across the valley and began our arduous descent. After many a twist and turn, we arrived at the base of the plateau. Unfortunately, most of our artifacts, our scientific evidence, had to be abandoned. But we made it back to Manaus, back to England.
Malone! Over here!
Hello, Mr. McArdle.
Welcome home, laddie. You've done a great job. Now gather your group and come with me. We have a fleet of carriages waiting to take you to the Zoological Society. The world is waiting. This night, history will be written. And you, my boy, will have the byline.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've all been anxiously awaiting the return of the Zoological Society's expedition to the Lost World. If you would all take your seats, we shall hear Professor Challenger's account. Please, take your seats.
Ned! Oh, Ned, there you are!
Why, hello, Gladys. What brings you here?
You too, of course. I've been following your adventures in the newspaper. You're quite the hero, you know.
Yes. May I introduce...
And I tell all my friends, oh, that's just Ned Malone wearing paint! It makes them green with envy!
That's wonderful, Gladys. Really. But first, may I present Professor Elizabeth Summerlee Malone?
How do you do?
How do you do, Professor Summerlee?
I think you've missed the point, Gladys. This is Professor Summerlee Malone.
I beg your pardon?
Elizabeth and I were married on the way back to England.
But, Ned, weren't we?
Oh, I wish you wouldn't, Gladys. Things are so much nicer as they are.
But...
Goodbye, Gladys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Professor Challenger.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible expedition it's been. What discoveries we've made. Why, only moments after entering the Lost World, we encountered a Stegosaurus.
Proof, Challenger. We need proof.
Hear me out, Illingworth. Insects as big as your hand. Pterodactyls living as birds rather than lizards.
Proof, Challenger. We need proof. You have submitted no evidence but a few fern leaves and some soil samples.
Yes, Professor Challenger, proof is the order of the day.
What would you accept as proof? An ape man, perhaps? A giant beetle?
If you would provide it.
What about a living dinosaur?
Get a grip, Challenger.
Summerlee, Roxton, Malone, Are we prepared to educate the Philistines?
Worth a try.
Good! Come up here. As the audience can plainly see, my fellow adventurers have brought on stage with them a large, shrouded cage. Before I remove the shroud, I ask the audience for silence! Absolute silence! And now, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a living pterodactyl! We found this specimen in a rookery occupied by hundreds of pterodactyls, and since its capture, it has grown at an astonishing rate.
Have them be quiet, Professor. The creature is strained at its tether.
I ask you again for silence! If the creature is frightened, it may attempt to escape. As I was saying, these pterodactyls are alive today in the lost world.
Sir, it's trying to bite through the cage.
Please, quiet down, everyone. Quiet down!
Give me the shroud! Throw the shroud over it!
It's been in the barn. The cage is breaking open.
It's escaping! It's escaping! Quickly, fasten your horse!
Do something, Challenger!
It's trying to push the windows. Watch out!
It's gone! It's gone! My pterodactyl is gone!
Here we go, gentlemen. Oh, and lady. Our best champagne compliments of the house.
How nice!
Well, here's to all of us who journeyed to the lost world and came back alive.
I don't know which was worse, the Tyrannosaurus Rex or Illingworth.
You're assuming there's a difference.
Oh, Malone, how many times up the Amazon did you long for a good bottle of champagne?
Several.
Yes. Well, now that we're safely back, there's something I want to share with you all. Look at the contents of this box.
Oh, they're beautiful. What are they?
Diamonds, emeralds, rubies!
Good God, man! Where did you get them?
When I went back for the pterodactyl, I spied these stones in the mud. A treasure worth £200,000. That's 50,000 apiece.
Why, I could finance a private museum.
I could devote myself to research.
And I could write a great novel. What about you, Roxton?
Me? Oh, nothing quite so grand. I just thought I'd have another go at the old plateau.
Why, that's a wonderful idea. Count me in. That is if a certain party accompanies me.
Mr. Malone, I never thought you'd ask.
What a capital idea. Capital! By Jove, we're going back. Allow me to propose a toast to the lost world and our next great adventure. To the lost world!
Extra! Extra! Strange bird flies over the English Channel. Scientists identifies a a big stork. Extra! Extra! Read all about it.
Nothing about Zoom.
Neither do I.
But it won't let me in.
It looks like to me it doesn't seem to want to work.